Witam was, z tej strony Survi, a my zaczynamy kolejny odcinek z gry Thaumaturge. Tym razem idziemy na pogrzeb ojca, bądź do mauzoleum, bo już sobie zdradziłem trochę w poprzednim odcinku, przez przypadek. A przy okazji ja się rozglądam za jakimiś gazetami, za jakimiś notatkami, innymi pierdółkami, bo brakuje mi tam może jednej bądź trzech takich gazeczek do poziomu. I mam nadzieję, że za niedługo rozpoczniemy taką pełną grę, że dostanę otwarty świat i będę mógł sobie biegać gdzie chcę i robić zadania. Bo na ten moment to ja ulotka. No dobra, jeszcze jednej brakuje. Chyba znalazłem. I fajnie. I mam poziom. O to chodziło. No to idziemy na pogrzeb. Serio? Klepsydra. Ogłoszenie parafialne. Cie, panie. Nekrolog ojca. Nagrobek. Serio? Z nagrobki też mogę czytać i mieć punkty? Jak fajnie. W bardzo głupi sposób można sobie wbić dosyć wysoki poziom. A raczej jakiegoś zlecenia traumaturgowego nie będzie tutaj, chociaż ciężko powiedzieć. Bo już widziałem, że już mam... Stworka mieliśmy już do nagrobek. Co? Komu? Jeszcze się nie wkręciłem tutaj w ten świat, już mnie kurde zaskakują. Dobra. Jeden poziom, plus może jeszcze drugi, jak zrobię tą misję. Nie, to tam mam iść, dobra.
I'm sure you don't remember me. My name's Hayat, Mordecai Hayat. I wanted to offer my condolences.
Thank you.
Please, forgive my prying. I know Mr. Shulsky took nitroglycerin for his heart, but how did he pass away? Was that his cause of death? His heart?
I'm curious myself. I haven't had a chance to find out.
Yes, I understand. My condolences, once again. I'll leave you alone. I'm sure you want to bid farewell to your father.
Warto zagadywać.
I think I ought to arrest you, Thaumaturge. Put your hands down. Someone might see. You still haven't figured out who I am? Don't be surprised. The last time we saw one another was 20 kilos ago.
Uncle Voronin?
I will not keep you. The guy's probably all alone back there, among those vultures circling Stasio. I'm sure she'll be glad to see you. Go on. We'll talk later.
Sister?
Victor! I'm so glad you came. I wasn't sure if my telegram had reached you.
I'm glad too. How are you holding up?
All this caught me off guard, but For now, I don't have time to think things through calmly. Look at yourself. What happened?
I took a short trip to a Warsaw jail.
What? Are you joking? During the funeral? Are you all right?
Everything's fine, don't worry. Have you written to Mother?
Yes, but what can you expect? You know what Nadia is like. It was never her style to show up for family events like this. It's getting late, and we've still got the reading of Papa's will ahead of us at home. And I'll leave you two alone. I suppose you've got your own matters to clear up.
Fine, let's get this over with. So, it was me who got it right in the end. Back then, on the train platform, was the last time we saw one another. 15 years ago. After brief suffering, fell asleep in the Lord. Brief? I hope not. Did you write this yourself? A tyrant, bigot, and liar, mistakenly absolved, died after suffering all too briefly. That's better, and definitely closer to the truth. The day you died, you visited me in my dreams. I was a child when you hounded me out of here, and I remember you as you were back then. But in my dream you looked older. You gave me hell as usual. You didn't believe I'd succeed. You were wrong. I've come back with 2 salutars. I'm sorry there are so many things I didn't get to say to your face. All those years, I said them over and over to myself in my head. How you were never able to admit a mistake. You never sought blame in yourself. Someone else was always guilty, never you. Mother because she wanted something for herself in life. Ligia because she wasn't born a boy. Me because I was born a Thaumaturge, but I didn't want to live following your principles. And now... Farewell, Father.
Am I intruding?
I was reflecting at the grave of my beloved father.
You tricked me. I heard something else. Stanisław and I were acquainted. You might say I knew everything about your father. Mr. Victor Szulski, isn't it? Your absence from Warsaw has happily come to an end, I hope.
With all due respect, this is my personal business. It was my father who knew you, not me.
True. Please forgive me. I meant no harm. Again, my condolences.
I didn't catch your name.
My name's Kanieczkin. Ivan Kanieczkin. Goodbye.
Such interesting friends you had.
What the fuck?
I guess I'm more tired than I thought.
To nie jest zmęczenie. To samo było w peronie. Wieniec.
Great-grandmother Józefina, a Thaumaturge.
Też nie zdążam przeczytać.
Grandpa Nikodem, a Thaumaturge. I barely remember him.
Wyrażono w dosadnych słowach radości powodu śmierci Stanisława. Wieniec rzucony co niedbale, ale słowo na bileciku poświęcono trochę czasu. Napisano zostało kilka wersów. Wszystko wydało się autorowi wystarczająco obraźliwe. W końcu zło się na proste, aczkolwiek wymowne, czyli grebe szulski. Ojciec pognał wiele osób, niż by przypuszczał. Okazało się, że miał przyjaciół, którzy jego śmierć wyraźnie dotknęła i wróg, których wyraźnie uszczęśliwiła. Cóż, wygląda na to, że ojciec stworzył skrajną moc ludzie, którzy się na niego dotknęli w życiu. To jest najlepsze 2 poziomy mam. Udaj się do domu, wpaść do domu swojego, Szulski. Dobra. No to lecimy. Przy okazji może sobie pójdę... A w sumie od razu. To jest... W sumie tylko to mogę kupić. Bo nic więcej nie mogę. Wymiar serca i czynu jest rozwinięty. Już...
We can go. The hardest thing was getting the lid of the urn. The scattering I could handle.
You can play the clown, but I know how much this has cost you. I'm glad you went.
Love at a funeral. Eros postmortem. Is it suitable for a young lady in mourning to fraternize with bachelors? Konstancja Szabłowska, the Warsaw Courier. Could I ask for a brief comment?
Hyena.
Thank you. And you, sir?
I suggest you leave. Otherwise, I'll overlook your womanhood and make sure you can never pronounce a single syllable correctly again.
You'd permit that to happen, Judge? Maybe I should write about this.
And who would let you print it?
Someday the press will get the Russian boot off its neck, Judge.
I'm afraid none of us will live to see the day, my dear. Come on, children. I'm sure my Petya is already waiting for us at home.
I'd love to see my cousin.
Are you coming with us?
Thanks.
Get in. I'm sure the lawyer is already waiting for us.
Ale tu wróciłem tu, gdzie byłem. A nie. To jest nowa mapka. Ja cię. Moment. Południowa mamy, Powązki mamy. I jest, tu jeszcze muszę pobiegać. Kamienica Szulskich jest tu. Dobra, jak mi się odblokuje wszystkie te obszary, to będę biegał. Teraz nie będę biegał jak głupi. Jedynie sobie tak pobiegnę koło domu. Żeby mieć tak, można powiedzieć, pobieżnie odkryte. Tu ma być jakaś gazeta czy coś, co sobie odhaczę od razu. No dobra, idziemy do notariusza, zobaczmy, co napisał ojciec.
Young Mr. Szulski, after all these years, goodness gracious, you're drenched!
Good evening, Grażynka.
Evening, my, you're soaked.
Kurkamy
Come to the kitchen now, you can warm up by the stove. And that drunken judge, maybe you can drag him out too.
Where's my sister?
In the study, already waiting with the lawyer. She said you were running late. Should I make you some cocoa, master? It would warm you up a little.
No need to fuss, Grażynka. I'm used to worse chills than this.
It's lovely to see you again. But that's enough jabber for now. I've got the guests and the cocoa, and I've got to whip up some food for you all later. We'll talk soon.
Jeszcze piętro, ogród, plac. Boże, a mam iść na piętro. A co pójdę do ogrodu, bo? Coś czuję, że to będzie jakaś taka baza wypadowa. Mam nadzieję taką. To będzie jak baza taka wypadowa, że po będzie znaczy główna baza. Portret ojca.
I don't want to put my foot in my mouth again. I already failed to recognize someone once today, but you look familiar.
Well, I should think so. I was the victim of one of your starling hunts. Voronins must not be very memorable, cousin.
Pietia! Forgive me, and for shooting you as well. How are you doing?
Just some heart problems, not a subject for today. I'm sorry about Uncle Stanislav. Forgive me for not coming to the funeral. I can't bear cemeteries.
We'll have to meet up again.
Goodbye.
O, za 5 zł. W sumie, ale wtedy to były inne czasy.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. I thought I'd have to drink alone.
So many goodies laid out for the guests. Having trouble picking something for yourself, Judge?
But this was Stasio's. It was special. Amber liqueur with quinces.
I think you mean quince liqueur with amber, right? If it's not here, I'm sure it's in the basement. But I won't grope around down there in the dark now. I've got my hands full.
Ja pójdę.
Now, I don't want to trouble you either. Victor, could you track down a little bottle for your uncle?
I suppose I'm obligated to accept this mission.
Good lad. A nephew like you is a treasure.
Moment, jeszcze tam zbadamy sobie. Pierście murany. Serio? Ten punkta brakło chyba. What the Dobra, nie będę tego czytać, ale dla chętnych zostawiam. Tu będzie za dużo czytania. Portret matki. Tajemnicza kobieta. Czyżby matka? Dobra, to już mogę. Każdy by zakazał opinii wszystkie zawiera godny z szkodą trunek wujek, co raczej nie pogardzi żadnym z nich. Nic tu więcej nie ma? Ale poziom mam.
How did it go? Mission accomplished?
I found this one.
That's not ours. He got it from some woman. Married up to do. So, to an easy death, as Stasio and I used to say.
How did he die?
Hasn't Lygia told you?
I haven't even had the chance to ask.
He didn't suffer, but such images in the memory are better saved for later. I'd prefer to remember him as he was alive. What then? Am I drinking alone?
Dobra, niech będzie.
I suppose there's no reason to bear grudges or be angry, is there? To Stasio?
To an easy death.
Familiar faces keep vanishing from my life. Stasio and my Helena before him. I miss my little darling. I miss them both. Well, obligation fulfilled. Shall we get to the reading of the will?
At the funeral, there was this sad Jewish fellow, Mordechai Hayat. Do you know him, uncle?
He worked for Stanisław, but that was a long time ago. I don't know him more than that. So, shall we collect our inheritance?
Yes, let's find out what my father hasn't left me.
Let's
Some
begin
point
if
down.
everyone is ready. Would you all please take a seat? Ladies and gentlemen, by the power of my office vested in me by the grace of His Imperial Majesty, the Emperor of all Russia, I hereby testify. Mr. Szulski's last will and testament were prepared several years ago in the presence of Zostaw Fedorov, Esquire, that is, myself. My last will and testament recorded in the year of our Lord 1888. In the name of the Holy Trinity. Amen. Therefore, my first irrevocable wish is to appoint as executrix of this will my daughter Ligia Szulska. Immediately after my death, an inventory shall be conducted in full accordance with the law. After completing the inventory, all my personal movables will be sold at public auction. And let the funds raised thereby be donated on the anniversary of my death to the beggars near that cemetery. The administration of the remainder of my fortune I leave, without restriction, to the person of my daughter Ligia.
I'm not even getting a teaspoon.
All movables and immovables relating to the family enterprise I entrust to the care and administration of my daughter. I do not prescribe a method of administering them. I merely offer her one piece of advice. I wish that the business should be conducted with modesty, prudence, and honesty, as I have conducted it my whole life.
A joker to the very end.
To my brother-in-law and oldest friend, Alexander Voronin, I wish to leave the following. My collection of muskets and 2 revolvers, dating to the uprising in memory of our first meeting.
Stasio, I will have plenty to do in my retirement.
Enjoy your retirement. I wish you success with your business and your hunting. I'm going to have something to eat before heading off.
Just a moment yet, Mr. Szulski. Your name is also mentioned here.
A last-minute plot twist.
I would also like to come to the aid of my only son, Viktor Szulski, by entrusting him with the use of my personal black grimoire, in the hope that he will be able to make good use of it. This is my last will and testament. Carry it out solemnly, though you may have found it burdensome. However, this last bequest poses a certain problem.
Yes, it certainly does. And what is that, may I ask?
I am not in possession of this grimoire. The late Mr. Szulski used it up until his death, yet no one left it with me after his passing.
Meaning it's disappeared?
Aha, serio?
Did father have his grimoire on him at the time of his death?
It was only because of the grimoire that we could identify him at all.
What actually happened? How did he die?
A building collapsed on top of him. I don't know any other way of putting it.
Aha.
The grimoire. Could someone have taken it? Perhaps, in all that confusion.
But why would anyone want Papa's grimoire? An ordinary person won't use it. Would the Thaumaturge just happen to be passing by?
Father had all his knowledge in there, but I don't know if it would be useful to someone other than him. I don't even know why he left it to me.
I'm sure Stasio had a reason.
A building? It collapsed on top of him? How? How did this happen?
It was a day like any other. Papa had gone for his habitual walk. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he'd take a stroll to get some space, as he put it. When he didn't come back for a long time, I got the bad feeling something had happened. Then...
We rode there together. An entire wall of a tenement had collapsed. There were 3 victims, including Stasio, who had the bad luck to simply be walking by. To see him there in that condition, it's beyond description.
Where did it happen? Where was this building?
The southern part of Śródmieście, not far from the police station. Anyway, you can miss it.
Of all the possibilities, this was the death that fate prepared for him.
I foresaw a slightly more pleasant end for him myself. I doubt even he deserved such a horrible death.
Those might be the kindest words you've ever said on the subject of a father.
How typical of his sort of person to keep a portrait in his study of a family that was only a family on canvas. Not long after the painting was done, he got divorced, ruined the Niedzicas, and kicked out his son. But there the portrait hangs, as if family meant anything at all.
I don't know what exactly happened with Abauritze, but I know that Papa felt guilty. You don't want to forgive him even now that he's gone?
The dead need no forgiving. And as for forgetting, I don't know how. It's just a shame about the grimoire.
What do you intend to do?
Father evidently knew a certain Ivan Konieczkin. Have you heard anything about him?
Konieczkin? No, doesn't ring a bell.
All sorts of people came to Papa's store. That doesn't mean every one of them might know something about the grimoire.
That's true. You've got your work cut out for you.
And Mordechai Chayat. Could that be a lead?
I don't think so. He worked with Father, but he left more than a year ago. I don't know why. He was an assistant at my store.
Do you know where I might find him?
Sadly, no.
Do you have any other ideas?
And where are Father's things at the moment?
You're standing at the very center of his kingdom. Not everything has been sorted through yet, but you go right ahead.
And the store? I should check that too.
I've started stock-taking there to distract myself, and I don't want you to go in there before I've finished.
As you wish. I think we have to look for the answer in the place where it happened.
With your sight, you can make out more in those ruins than I, or Uncle, or Detective could. This is a good lead, but is it the only one?
Now at least I can see how little I know. Maybe these scraps of information will lead me somewhere.
Well, now that we know what's got to be figured out, forgive me, my darlings. I'm going to give my old bones a rest.
I'll see you out.
Goodbye, Uncle. And, Ligia. I'm sorry it happened this way. That I wasn't close by.
The most important thing is you're here now.
Okej. Jezu, ile tu jest rzeczy. Bożeż, kochany. Przebierz się. Garderoba. A, czy tak jak myślałem. Dobra, to jest z drugiej strony. Zbadaj kuferek. Poważne zdjęcie. Dobra, to jest chyba mój What the fuck? To było dziwne. Dobra. Spalony list. Tak szybko sobie tylko depeszę od matki. Dobra. Mój list z Rzymu. Kurier. Mój list z Paryża. Tak na odchodne trochę literatury. Tamte punkty, co tu mamy, to sobie zrobimy. Te czerwone zrobimy sobie na początku następnego odcinka. Bo to nie ma sensu, żebym ja teraz to zaczynał, jak już mamy ponad pół godziny. Weź się... Podsłuchaj, tu mogę jeszcze zbadać. Czemu to z góry zbadam? Portret rodzinny. Testament Stanisława. Tym akcentem sobie zakończymy ten odcinek, więc cześć, czam, nara i hej!